We were so excited to have the opportunity to work with the University of Memphis. We invited them to Nashville to take part in a charrette, get to ask them a lot of questions, and just allow our team to spend some time with them, sketch out ideas. We're true believers in the notion that ideas breed ideas.
Well, this is an experience that I've never been through, having been in development and construction for 30 years. It's truly almost miraculous how the design process can start off with just a simple idea and explode and evolve. So as it's going to relate to Memphis, there's no question that the finished product is going to be a result of what started today.
Talk about Traditions Hall. I mean, how did it start? What do you think their motivations were?
With the new Traditions Hall, what it becomes is a destination outside of FedEx Forum. They needed that complement on campus, and this became the crown jewel. This became the showpiece for them and for the program, and it really allows a recruit to be immersed in the culture of Memphis basketball.
So if we can go to audiences maybe, because that was one of the things that we talked to them about was, how do I create a building that's for basketball players, but at the same time, as part of the audience that's going to need to be in there, the donors, it's going to be an open building at the front of it. So talk to me a little bit about even maybe the walk path.
Anybody can walk into Traditions Hall and experience that space and enjoy the story. But then in terms of the walk path for the everyday student athlete, they do have a different path that they come in. It's really based around their current goals and where the team is headed and what they're trying to achieve that year. So it starts to personalize the message to them.
You know, one of the pieces that lots of schools want is a representation of their gear to kind of show the players what they wanted, but you know, we didn't have necessarily that particular space. So talk a little bit about how we, created actually a really cool space out of something that no one recognized in the walk path.
Right, so AECOM had this really cool space that they had designed into the building called the Oculus, and it was this two-story vertical connector with the coaches area to the players area, and everybody was uncertain of what to put there or what could actually go there. We worked directly with them and came up with this idea of putting the gear display there. All right, so it became sort of this Oculus gear wall. We knew it needed some swagger and it needed some cool factor. There's some beautiful LED lights worked into those displays.
Yeah, so let's talk about, so you walk down that particular hallway with the players, and at the end of that is this really cool image of the Memphis Tiger. And then you hang a left, and now you're in their spaces. So talk a little bit about things that you saw coming up that needed to change off of what the architect had given them first.
Mm-hmm. So as we looked at the locker room itself, one of the things that Coach kept talking about was this notion of unity, right? And team. So he put a lot of emphasis upon those guys staying connected. One of the things that we suggested early on was, instead of having a more square locker room itself, we saw some beautiful renderings and imagery of the old Coliseum, which is one of the glorious places that they played before the FedEx Forum. So we suggested a more circular space that is symbolic of that space.
Well, it's more naturally, it more naturally creates unity.
True. And they were always the unifier of the city. We brought a lot of that messaging into the facility. One of the things that I remember so clearly hearing from them was that the Grizzlies are the pro team, but Memphis is the franchise, right? Which is such a fun terminology. And we really thought through that with them and tried to figure out ways to reconnect back to the city. One of my favorite displays in the building itself is the Native Sons.
That's the exact one I was thinking of.
It's in Traditions Hall. It really calls forth all the players who are from Memphis that joined the team, that were just part of that representation of the city itself, and there's that strong connection.
From an audience perspective, we were able to be elegant in one space and edgy in another where the players were. That was really fun. So that it is going to be able to serve the University of Memphis for decades to come.
Our hope is, when you look at 3 to 5 years down the road, we want it to impact not only our student athletes, not only our faculty and staff and coaches, but also the public, that people have opportunity here. It creates what we do in athletics, that memorable moment. First thing that we always wanted to do is have that wow factor.